Hello again, everyone, and welcome back to the Vintage Sewing Machine Garage. You are looking at the underside or the underbelly of my Kenmore 158.19312 model. This, of course, is the one of those wonderful mid-1970s Kenmore sewing machines. They came in a variety of models, and I mean a big variety. They came in flatbeds, but of course this one is a free arm, and it was even more expensive. And of course, the 1931 takes decorative cams in addition to the built-in steel cams with the utility stitches. And of course, yes, it does reverse stitching. So this was likely one of, if the not most expensive Kenmore. Kenmore doesn't sound like an expensive brand, but I can assure you in the 70s it was not cheap. But then again, it was made magnificently. So I have mentioned to you all, this machine had some stiffness. It was dry, unlike the 1941 model that I just recently completed videos on. This particular model was dry like the other one, but it had some older oil in it that I had to remove and clean before getting the new oil added. And of course, now you can see, if I zoom in here, you can take a look. And again, if you're not sure, if you don't have a manual, even if you do have the manual, it doesn't always give you every spot, and you're not sure, simply take the hand wheel. When you have the machine down on its side, you can see I'm moving the hand wheel, and the mechanical pieces that move when the hand wheel moves are moving. And when you see them moving, usually you'll see metal moving against a piece that's not, and that is a great way to figure out where to put a drop of oil. If you're restoring the machine or you're waking it up the way you see me doing here, it will likely take more than one drop of oil. Normal sewing machine oiling is one drop in the oiling spots, but for getting a machine going after years of sitting, you really do need more than one drop of oil. In these points, you'll have to play it by ear and see how much it takes to help get them moving. If oil is not enough, of course, you then want to consider you can use 99% rubbing alcohol to try to dissolve some of that old oil. You can use a hair dryer. If you really have to get it hotter, you can use a heat gun with a lot of caution, or penetrant oils. But the point is, you're getting things moving again. Now, on that 1941 model I had, and I don't know at what year the cutoff was for, they had serial numbers on all of these, but that particular model had a steel, or I take that back, it had an aluminum tray at the bottom. This particular one is plastic, but most of the ones I've ever had are plastic, and they're fine. I wanted to show you how I'm going to put this on. I may have done this in another video. I honestly don't remember. But the reason I want you to see this, and get my little flashlight to stop wobbling, is because there's a place here that you need to pay extra attention to when you're putting this back on, so that you put it on properly and you don't damage the tray. The tray is not something you'll have to take off that often. I have, generously lubricated the bottom down here. But what I'm going to be doing is, remember, we took 5 screws off, and I now have them lined back up here. There's the long one that goes on the free arm end over here, and I have the 4 others, which are the same length, I believe. Now, remember, I think I mentioned this in one of my other videos, but unlike the steel tray, this particular tray, it goes on the same way, and the feet are in the same place. What is different is this little, where are you, little piece? Right here. If you fold the little door that goes to your bobbin case, you're going to see this little kind of a funny shaped plastic end. This is from above, and that's from the side. Now, when I go to put this on, when you go to put yours on, remember, you're going to start by lining up. Just keep the door open. That'll get it out of the way for the moment. And of course, we're going to line up the holes here. The large holes will line up with the feet, which we never took the screws out, because the only time you would take those out is if you were going to replace the feet, and the feet in this are in pretty good shape. So I'm going to use these large holes to sort of line up what I need to get on here. And you can see, well, you could if I would move the camera for you. You can see what I'm actually doing here. I have basically taken this bottom piece and I'm lining up with the large holes where the feet are. And you can see it actually fits right here. Now, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 feet, the fourth being over here. There are 5 places for screws, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. The reason this hole is here is because this is one of the places that, and here's the other, where the bolts go to mount this into the table. So, now, everything seems to be fine right now. However, before you go and just put this on, stop right there. Do not go any farther. Do not push it flush. Okay, I've just kind of gotten it centered here, but it's not flush with the base of the machine. Don't do that yet. What you want to do is pay close attention to this spot right here. Right there. Okay? If you look closely, there's a slot, and I can help you look more closely if we zoom in. Right there. Okay. This is the little funny little place here. It's like a clip, right? And notice this little slot. This piece, this part of the clip needs to go in that slot. So, one of the simpler ways to do this is to simply do it from this angle so you can see it, because if you're facing this way up here, you're going to miss this potentially, and you don't want to do that because you'll break it. So we're going to notice I've got the machine, and I basically the tray wants to come flush with the machine, but before I do that, notice what I'm going to do here. I'm going to push down right here. I'm going to push down, right? And if you need something to help you, you could always put maybe a drop of oil on it to help it slide, but I don't think you need that with plastic. Now, notice everything's lined up, but if you push, you're going to be applying pressure to this. I believe this little nub here, this gap and this nub are aluminum like the rest of the body, but this, same color, plastic. Now, you should have some some flexibility here, right? Notice I can move it within a certain amount. I'm going to push down and forward, and there we go. Now it's clipped on. Why they did it this way, I have no idea. The metal tray is not like this, but this one is. Now that this is in place, let's spin everything back around. One of the advantages of having a towel or a cloth is you can do that without scratching or tearing up a table surface. Okay, now that clip is on, we're ready to do the part that's pretty self-explanatory. I am going to take my screws and put them back in, and I knew I was missing one. Got away from me. Okay, now this is something you can do or not. I do it as part of it's just one of the little things I do when I overhaul a machine. I know that these bolts and screws came out easily, the ones that attach the tray, but when they get inserted, they contact metal. They go through the holes in the plastic, and they go into the metal part of the chassis. So, this is not part of normal oiling of a machine, but restoring one. So, I don't know if this tray's been on here since 1974. I have no idea. So, I'm just going to put one drop at the very base of each screw. So, I can get some light here. So, just put it at the very end, and as you screw it in, the oil will spread. You don't need to flood this thing and drown it in oil. That's silly. You just make a mess. So, if you look closely, you'll see I've just put a drop of oil at the very tip, and then as these screws feed in, they will pull the oil up all the way up the shaft of the screw. And again, once this is done, it may not have to be done again. And do I have to do it? No, not really, but why not? It took me, it took me longer to talk about it than it did to do it. And now it's done, right? Now, one of the things that you may see when you look at the videos of this machine versus the 1941, this machine is, unlike the 1941, which didn't get used very much, I don't think, that's my theory, and I've already talked about placing these screws in the 1941 video, so I won't repeat that. This particular machine was used more, and so there's a couple of scratches in the paint and so forth. Remember that these machines were engineered so magnificently that unless it was used in a tailor shop or something, honestly, don't let that deter you, because you can often get the price you pay for a machine can sometimes be determined by, the aesthetics of it to a degree. Depends on the machine. And when I put these screws back, by the way, because they are going to seat against plastic, they're screwing into steel, but when they finally get snug, they're going to be holding this plastic tray up against the chassis of the machine. I will take a very simple screwdriver. It's not my normal screwdriver bits that I use when I'm trying to, I need a lot of force, because I find that by using something like this, it prevents me, because if you take a screwdriver that's slightly smaller and you try to put too much torque, it won't work, right? You don't want to strip your screws. And I can simply take this screwdriver and I'm going to turn it. And as soon as it gets snug, you'll feel it, right? And you just stop, because again, there's no stress on this. You don't want to over tighten it, and there's no need to, because this tray, once I have the little screws or bolts here snug, the tray isn't going to go anyplace. It's not going to, it should not come loose, right? So you'll feel it start to get a little more snug, and then you do this by feel, but again, always err on the side of not being overly tight. It's an unnecessary risk to take with your machine, and it doesn't serve any purpose. Now, I tightened the steel screws that went onto my steel bracket when I was putting the belts in, because that is under pressure, and there we go, more than snug enough. I did not want to I didn't want it to come loose. Pardon the little malfunction there. We had technical difficulties, I think is the nicest way to describe that. And again, you will get a feel for what, it just makes sense. And you know this from any time you've had to assemble anything. If it involves steel and plastic, take extra care. So this is where the long screw goes. And again, I'm just waiting for it to start seating, and as soon as it starts to give a little resistance, I stop. That is more than enough tension for getting these screws here. So I will close my door, and I am almost ready to test the machine. I have been basically checking it, adding oil, being very patient, and essentially getting it moving with my hand on the hand wheel, and have yet to really give it a run, because I want to make sure it's ready. I think we will see, I may stand corrected, but we'll see if it is ready to do its thing. I appreciate you all watching, and we will see you in the next video.